Hello, Steve. Hello, Jill. It's time to game classy.
It. There we go. That little sound.
Oh,
It is
nice.
recording.
It doesn't say your recording is in progress, but you can actually see in the upper left. You can actually see that it's being recorded.
Yes,
That's even better.
So this is generally what I use for work more than Zoom. So we'll see how this works. I have no idea. I've never actually done any recording on it. So we could lose the entire podcast for all I know.
Oh man.
Yeah. But we'll see. This is all new. It's a new experience for all of us. Yeah, I'm done with Zoom. I'm sorry, but I'm especially upset about the fact that Zoom is having people go back to the office. I mean, it's one of those stupid things where it's like they're just using it as an excuse to lay off staff.
Yeah.
They're not actually like, oh, we need to be back in the office for reasons. No, they're doing that all over the place, and it's not because of anything other than they just want to get rid of some excess staff that they have.
They hired extra staff. They hired extra staff during the most active parts of the pandemic, and now they want to trim because they can keep the excess profits and get rid of the extra staff they hired.
No, all companies are doing that just because they want to trim the fat, so to speak.
Yes, I mean, I'm saying it's basic playbook CEO bullshit.
Well, and it's nonsense because it's like, well, they're like, well, if you don't, we're going to take it as your resignation. It's like, no, you're firing me.
Yeah,
because I'm going to get unemployment benefit.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't tell someone that they quit if you suddenly flip the script on them. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. By the way, if that happens to anybody, just remember to write on an email saying it's like, I do not take this as my resignation. And this is not a resignation. This is
a termination.
This is a termination.
Yes.
So you could get those sweet unemployment benefits that aren't really that sweet, but they're enough.
Yeah. No, I don't know. That's one thing that's that I'm really I think that was good about my companies that are like they were smart enough to actually be like, oh wait, no, this is actually better.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wait, it's actually better.
Yeah, where I work, we'll never go remote, even though we have the infrastructure to go remote, and we went remote for 2 years. Everyone panicked last year when it was like, I think it was that day we had the massive snowstorm, and
I remember that, yeah.
And everyone was like, "Are we gonna go remote? Are we gonna go remote?" And the district was like, "No, no, you're not going remote."
Yeah, it's just a power play. That's all it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's why the mayor of Chicago got voted out by like a super majority.
Like everyone.
Yeah. She was the mayor of Chicago. For those who the local news, the mayor of Chicago.
I don't know why I was doing People's Court, but
yeah, the mayor of Chicago managed to not only upset all the teachers, but she also upset all the firefighters and all the cops. So you had the three biggest unions in the entire city against
Yeah, I mean,
her.
she had everybody. Nobody liked her.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, sometimes there are like those people who are okay with being unliked because they have to make necessary changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like with that whole thing with Reddit right now, where everyone was all upset with the CEO because he had to make those because he made those changes to the whatever the third party apps is.
Yeah,
they're all like, "Oh, we don't like this guy," and the guy was like, "Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting paid millions of dollars, and you guys are just using my platform to show anime pics
every time."
So he was okay with it. No, she was just bad. She was bad at her job. So we'll see. But anyway, that was remote. Oh yeah. So
that was the local news.
News.
The local news.
The People's Court.
Yes.
I hate court shows. My sister loves them. I hate them.
I didn't get the appeal. Like I don't. Like, I mean, I know like the. I get the appeal of the ones that are like the personality shows, like, like Judge Mathis takes no shit in his courtroom. Like, I get that because they're selling the judge.
Yeah, Judge Judy, who's always like, "Don't piss on me," and call it sunshine.
Exactly. Yeah. So that I get, but like,
It'd be so much better if she actually said shit like that.
I agree with this actually.
Yeah, no, it's to me a lot of those come from growing up in a house without cable on staying home on a weekday when you're sick, like watching like that
Empire carpet commercials.
Yeah.
People's Court. Price is Right.
Yeah, all of those, like the local, the more local stuff that you see on WGN or something.
We should bring back trial by combat, but you can't use a proxy. That's got to be the rule. You know what? Maybe yeah. You can't use a proxy. You got to fight your own fight.
Oh, you mean like instead of People's Court, like you have to do trial by combat?
Yeah, you have to do trial by combat. But an important rule is like, you know, one of the things that the rich people used to use to get out of trial by combat is that you could hire a proxy to fight for you.
Oh yeah.
The big you know, number one rule, perhaps the only rule for my trial by combat system is you got to fight your own battle. Like period.
Yeah, there was a guy in the UK who actually, like, I think he got a speeding ticket, and he went to court and was like, "I demand trial by combat."
Yes, because they didn't actually like remove it from the law, so he could, like, it was actually literally legally within his right.
Yeah, and the court was just like, "No,
it's fucking awesome.
That's
though.
not happening."
That's awesome though. Like, what a fucking baller move to know that like you could actually do it and be like, "Oh wait, I can actually do this."
Yeah, except for the fact that, you know, it's like the people that we would actually want to do trial by combat with, it wouldn't actually. Could you imagine, because of how our laws work in the United States, it's like you challenge a corporation at trial by combat. So like the corporation like emails everybody saying like, "All right, everybody's got to show up to this plane. We're gonna have a massive combat against this one guy."
I don't think I would say you're allowed to challenge, just randomly challenge people to trial by combat. It has to be like it can settle a court case essentially.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like if you sue a corporation, but because corporations are considered people,
I see. You have to fight the whole corp yourself.
You have to fight the whole corporation yourself.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe you might be able to find some. You know, if you win, do you get the corporation?
I don't know, but I think if you had a class action settlement, it could be like a classic giant battle, like
like
a clash.
The movie Battle Royale,
or I was thinking more Braveheart.
Oh, sure, that works too.
You know, yeah, not Battle Royale, but you have like one whole side going up against the other whole side, Warhammer Fantasy Battle style.
Yeah. I agree with this. This works.
Because you could just imagine all those people in the corporation want nothing to do with the combat. They're like, "No, we don't want to do this."
That's true. You'd probably skate by with a lot less fighting than you'd think.
Yeah. And you know, but there's like, of course, the middle managers are the ones who are like trying to get you to go forward.
We're a family here, and we really need you to do this combat.
Yeah, exactly. You're really not pulling your weight by manning the trebuchet.
Yeah, we're understaffed. We really need more. We really need more people willing to sacrifice their bodies.
Attention, all staff. We will be having a mass combat over at the Battle of Baden Plains. If you do not show up, we'll be taking it as a resignation.
Perfect. There you go. Now we've got it.
Now we've done it. I'm going to start off. Well, welcome to Game Classy. I am your host, Joe, and with me is always my co-host, Steve.
Hello.
We're trying a new recording format today, so we're going to see how this works. It's supposedly Google Meets will record for 8 hours, so we don't have to stop even.
Wow.
We could just keep going, man. We just keep going, just like Thumb and Louise.
I don't know, man. I think once we got to like hour 3, we'd probably be dead.
We'd just be dead. And actually, there's not a ton of gaming news this week, but I did want to start off with some apologies.
Mm-hmm.
I some corrections, if you will.
Let's go.
First off, the Warcry starter set is not both warbands. It's only like half the warband, surprisingly.
Okay.
So half the warband of the Stormcast, half the of the Undead. So that kind of sucks.
It's still a cool box though.
It is still a cool looking box set. It's $100 though, so fuck that. Especially because you can actually go on. Oh, excuse me. You can go on Amazon and buy the full Warcry starter like box set for $105.
Wow. That's a good price. I
don't remember which one it is, but it's one of them. The vast majority of them are under 120 if you go on Amazon, or some of the newer ones are under 120. I think Beasts of the Heart of Gur, which is the big starter set,
Mhm.
is not. I think that one is only I think that one's 150, but just
Okay. Well,
cheaper
that one's
than
big. It's got a lot of
normal.
terrain in it.
It's got a lot of training, and you get the rule book, so you do need the
Yeah.
rule book, which is easy to find. I find them all over. They're at every half price books, and you can get them on eBay for cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my first apology on that one because it's not worth it, and I don't think anybody's really gonna buy that one. It's a huge mistake on GW's part. They put out I think it was called Battle Cry or Warsmith. It was something. It was like a War Cry clone they put out at Barnes and Noble that actually had better terrain and used 2 Underworld's war bands.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. That one's cool. It used the
Bladeborn, that's what it was called.
yeah, it used the Stormcast wizards, if I remember correctly.
No,
No?
maybe it definitely used the chaos.
I thought I thought it had like the one wizards with the like floating stones, but I might be wrong.
Who knows? And that's on that end. But that's my first apology. Not worth it. And then my second, it's not really an apology, but I just want to clarify with the Vallejo metallics that I talked about.
The Express.
Yeah. So the metallics aren't express. The metallics are part of the game color system, but they work and they flow like contrasts.
Mm.
So just keep that in mind that they are they're not actually contrast. They just flow really, really well and they have really good coverage. So that's the other thing I really wanted to apologize on because Vallejo redid their game color line. So I deep dove into this and I don't know why, but Vallejo has their 2 main branches that we use for mini gaming is they have model color and game color.
Mm.
Model color is more muted and it gives a little more realistic colors, I guess I would say. I like using the model color quite a bit. Most of my paints from Vallejo are the model color. And then they have game color, which is designed for mini games, which I don't understand why you have to have the 2 different ones, but the game color is supposedly brighter and like more vivid.
I'll say my guess would have been less useful for blending less coats kind of thing.
Maybe, but they have the game color got a full redesign. So the main thing that I think I really like about the game color is they actually have new bottles for them. They're like they're not the really hard plasticky bottles that you normally have. These are a lot more squishy.
Okay.
And I think that they actually like pour the paint better onto the palette, if that makes sense.
All right.
But they're not.
I'll buy that for $1.
They're not the hard plastic. I'm holding them right here so you can't see them because I don't have my camera on because I'm technically recording this in my bathrobe. Yeah, it's a hard plastic for the model color, but the game color is like a soft plastic. It's very nice.
Oh.
It feels good. It's got good hand feel, Steve.
Well, our most important thing we've always talked about is the mouth and hand feel.
The mouth feel. I hate that's like a total white person thing,
Mouth feel.
Yeah. Like only the most vanilla mayonnaise person would come up with the term mouth feel.
Mouth feel. It's funny.
It is. I mean, it is funny. It's just it's that overly pretentious nonsense that we have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 2000, like a late 2000s thing to me. The fact that everyone seems to take all of these cool niche things and just destroy them through like dissecting the nuance of it.
Oh, it's like that Sungwon video where it's like it's before and after you discover a subreddit for something. It's him talking about water.
Yeah, it's like beer is always my go-to on this because it's probably the most widely varied thing.
Those are the classic snobbery item.
Yeah, the classic snobbery item where it's just like literally up until like 2005 in America, to any of our European listeners, up until 2005, it's like all beer was shit, domestic beer, and occasionally you'd have a couple imports, like you'd have like a I don't even know, like a Heineken.
I'll say Kirin beer.
Yeah. If you want to go Japanese, yeah. you'd have like these occasional like imports, and that was it. And then 2005, microbreweries really
And
started.
then everything's a fucking IPA.
And then, well, yeah, IPA was just one of them. Now everything's a sour. IPAs are still big, but whatever. But yeah, people started making their own beers, and then it became like these people just became snobs about it, like the nuance between it. And it's like if you actually go to many of these microbrews, they're always filled with these guys who are like these, or I should say, these guys and their wives who are 55, 60, who are just sitting around drinking the beers. They don't care. They just want to go to a bar.
The nutty aromatics of this
Yeah.
beer really sells me. And you know, I have to say, compared to the last brew, the mouthfeel on this blend is superior.
Yeah. And then there's me, who's like, I like the taste of this beer. It gets me drunk faster than this other beer, which I also like the taste.
I was gonna say, like, it's just like this beer gets me drunk. Review 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I mean, like the only beers I really don't like, if offered, are I don't like smoky beers.
Ew.
I don't like beers where they use liquid smoke in the beer.
Ew.
I-
Is that like a real thing?
Yeah, it's a choice. It's not one of my favorites.
You're not fucking with me, right? Like that's an actual, like people putting liquid smoke in beer is real. Like that's an actual thing.
Yep.
That's
I don't know if they actually
disgusting.
put liquid beer in. I don't know if it's actually liquid smoke in the beer, but they give the beer a liquid smoke-esh flavor, and I don't know how they do it, whether they actually like smoke it or put liquid smoke in it. But
that's
whatever have you.
That's madness. Complete. You know, it's not related to this current cast, but the last cast it's related with Cryptid. Have you ever heard of El Duende?
El what?
El Duende.
Duende.
El
Maybe
Duende.
I have.
El Duende. It's great. I think everyone should watch videos on El Duende. There's a YouTube video is called the top 10 most shocking El Duende proof. And
Oh, I know this. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
it by that name, but I know what this is.
yeah, they're like leprechauns, but it's
yeah,
El
they're basically like gnomes.
Yeah, they're gnomes. El Duende. But there's a video that like I'm fairly certain is like not being played for any like crumb of irony. And it's the top 10 real Duende, and man, I was dying, like laughing my fucking ass off. Like one of the videos of a real Duende literally looks like they poorly CG'd Gollum, a small Gollum running like blurry in the background, and like the people in the video were reacting like El Duende. It's so good.
Is it as good as the leprechaun in Atlanta?
Oh,
the leprechaun in the tree.
yeah, the leprechaun in the tree. I'd say it's on par with the leprechaun in the tree.
Well, it was yeah. I mean, people get weird about that sort of stuff. I mean, what is it in Iceland? They still put up the houses for the elves, the Hildefolk.
That's right, the Hildefolk.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily like that, but I just it's just weird to me. Like
Well, just for the Squatch, right?
well, yes, just for the Squatch. I mean, I'm one of those people who's like, I would put out like little fairy houses in my backyard just for decoration to be cute. And then you meet someone who really believes in that, and you're just
Yeah.
like, what?
Fairies.
I mean, like if I could build a Sasquatch house for a Sasquatch just in my backyard, it'd be pretty good. But I imagine a Sasquatch would not be a good person to have in your yard.
Probably not. I mean, can you imagine the like Sasquatch poops?
Oh God, they'd be huge. It'd be
Yeah.
like the dinosaur poop in Jurassic Park.
Exactly. And then you'd have to be like, they do move in herds.
They do dun 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 dun, 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 dun. Jurassic Park. It's a movie about dinosaurs.
Billy and the Clonosaurus.
That's a terrible name.
Not only have you done a film that's already been done, you give it the worst name I've ever heard.
Speaking of the cryptids, that reminded me of the article that was sent to us from New Zealand
Mhm.
about their cryptid issue. And did you actually read that article?
I didn't know.
Oh my God, it's like every other word is some strange New Zealandy word where it's just like, this is what it must be to read another language, but having like a 50% grasp on that language, like a really like solid grasp, like reading Spanish, but like enough Spanish that you could like talk pretty fluently, but yet when you read it, you have no concept of what's being read to you. I guess the only way I can describe it, because it's like Auckland's Dream Train project, the 2.6 billion city loop, might have another problem to face: the Harotiu, the Taniwaha. It's like, what? Yeah, I can't. It's, what's being done about the Taniwaha Harutu, who lives just outside here, and that tunnel be going right through his Rojo?
Naruto.
Wilcox told the Auckland City Council Transport Committee. I was like,
The transport.
I can't. Like, my New Zealand is just my Australian, but up in the nose. So
I don't think I can even try.
you can't.
I
Well,
don't think so.
like if I said do an Australian accent, could you do an Australian accent?
Right. Well, no.
It's like I like how everyone in America's Australian accent starts with the word right. Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's we were all taught by Paul Hogan to do that.
That's not a knife. This
is
is
a
a
knife.
knife. That's not a knife.
Yeah.
It's a spoon. See, you played knifey spoony before. Oh, you know what? $900 dues. There you go. That's what I got.
I always will go. With that. I always go with it's an emergency.
It's an emergency, Paul.
Now everybody just does it based off Bluey. That's the whole thing now.
Yeah, no, it's a blue. It's nar.
That's
Well, you know my
slipped on my beans.
my niece has a coming and going Australian accent now because of Bluey.
Yeah.
It's really funny because like she'll start talking and it's just like, what the fuck? There's a little Australian child in this room.
You know. So when I want to do a New Zealand accent, you know what word I use? I use the word deck.
Dick,
Yeah, you always go up. You go dick.
your dick.
Yeah, so you say dick instead of deck, and that's how it gets me into my New Zealand accent. If I
Let's go stand on your dick.
yeah, I'm gonna have a little barbecue out on the dick.
I love it when my neighbors come on my dick.
There you go. Yeah, you just say I love it when my neighbors come on my dick.
Yep. See, got it.
Yeah. I have no idea if that's like legit New Zealand or anything like that, but I try to be able to do as many accents as possible. I've been working on South African for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to do South African. I have to like watch Chappie and then and realize how stupid of a movie it is. And
I like, you know what? I like Chappie.
Chappie's a terrible fucking movie.
Oh yeah, I know, but I like it.
Yeah, it's like Neil Blomkamp. It's like that man. He did one great sci-fi movie, and then he can't get it. He can't. Now he's doing that race car movie where you can play a video game of a race car and then you become European.
The Oats Studios thing was fucking dope as shit. The one that was
those
like
are the shorts that he did though. I'm
Yeah,
talking like full movies though.
But yeah, and what I'm saying is he should just stick to shorts.
Yeah, but I would agree. Yeah,
because that little series, and if anyone hasn't seen it, I highly recommend you watch Oats Studios. It's very, very cool.
but aren't you gonna watch the whatever the F1 racing movie is, the Last Starfighter? But it's so that he can.
I am not.
You're not.
I
You don't want to see the movie where they're like, you have been selected by the F1 League to protect the borders of France from Germany and the Codon Armada or whatever.
Yeah, I am not.
Ah, well. All right. So let's talk about some news. Gen Con just ended out, and nothing. I didn't see anything too crazy. I did see that they announced Starfinder second edition.
Yes. Yeah. This will be in compliance with the orc.
With the orc?
Yes, the orc. Yeah. So they're very clever play on ORG.
Oh, okay.
It's ORC.
Okay, so this is so that they can get away from having any issues with D&D's open gaming license.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured on that end. I don't know too many people who play Starfinder though. I've never. It's something that I don't see talked about online. I'm sure people do, but I don't. Whatever.
I only the people I know who most actively play Starfinder and Pathfinder, like they all do the organized play stuff.
Oh,
that's what I like. I don't actually know. I don't know anyone. It sounds so weird to frame it like this, but I don't know anyone who plays either Finder game casually.
Either Finder.
Either, well, yeah, they don't play Starfinder, they don't play Pathfinder, but they don't play them casually. Like they only play the organized play stuff.
They're only professional casuals.
Yes, which is well, I mean, I can see this. Like it makes sense to me in a lot of levels. To want to be in the game like that because one, there's no like it's like there's you get to bring your character to like essentially a real life MMO.
Yeah.
Because your character gets to carry the everything to the next adventure, and like you go run different GMs, like doing conventions. You'll bounce your character between GMs and games, and one of the things that's extremely critical about their organized play is that it's everything's by the book. There is no like fudging. There is no ad hocing stuff, which if you're gonna play a game with as many fucking rules as Pathfinder or Starfinder, like why wouldn't you just go all the way and play the organized play at that point?
Yeah. I think I get what you're saying. It's like everybody across the US who's playing in the Pathfinder League, they all have the same module, and DM doesn't do any of that nonsense that all DMs do where it's like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm going to completely change this.
Yep. Yeah, no, you run it as written.
So everybody's characters can transfer from location to location. It's actually not a bad system. I mean, it sounds a little much for me, but
yeah,
I prefer.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I've played in several, but I only ever use pre-gens. I just grab a pre-gen character and play. I did a samurai once. It was pretty cool. I do think Starfinder is a bit cooler than Pathfinder, just because it's
Space.
Yeah, it's space.
It's
Space fantasy, which I think is like the dopest shit.
I kind of wish space fantasy was more like Ice Pirates than how space fantasy really is.
Ice Pirates.
You don't remember Ice Pirates? Ron Perlman, Angelica Houston.
I'm
It's
drawing.
got the space herpes.
I'm drawing a blank, but I've never seen this film.
You've never? Oh, do yourself a favor and watch it. It's not a great film, but it's fun.
I'm down.
I just like how it's really has that. It has a very fantasy-esque appearance in the way it works and everything.
Kind of like a Buck Rogers kind of style, or pulp sci-fi. Is it pulp sci-fi?
Yeah, but it's got like a little more sword and sorcery flavor to it, as opposed to it's more like Flash Gordon than anything.
Flash Gordon is alive.
Gordon alive. Dive. I play Granddaddy Pig.
That was good.
Dun, 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 dun.
Flash! Savior of the universe!
Can you believe that they've bungled that IP so poorly over the last few years, over the last like 30 years?
Yes, I can. I can believe it.
I mean, it's almost as bad as the Conan IP, except for some reason Conan keeps on surviving through Robert Jordan novels and comic books.
Yeah, mostly. Although I didn't think the Jason Momoa movie was that bad.
It wasn't terrible. I liked it quite a bit, but
Yeah.
it definitely did not have that kind of Conan the Barbarian vibe that people like.
Oh, what's her face? What was the girl? She played the wizard. She was super hot. Fuck.
The Wizard.
Fuck. I can't remember.
I haven't seen that movie in forever. I would like to. That'd be a good one to rewatch. I haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the villain, the villainess in that movie is a famous actress. I don't know. She's super hot. But yeah, I was like, that's a dope movie. I kind of want to watch it again now too. Now I'm thinking about Conan.
Now I'm thinking about Conan. Let me see. I actually have it. Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I just saw Rose McGowan at the Horror Con.
Nice.
Yeah. She was there signing stuff. That's where I got my Joe Bob picture.
Nice.
Signed. Yeah. And Svengoolie.
Ha. Love Svengoolie.
I know. Well, I have so many like pictures like with Svengoolie that are just like taken where I meet him on this like the shop floor of a convention.
Yes. That's how I've met Svengoolie every time too. I've never actually I've never done the proper wait in line to meet Svengoolie. It was always like I was like behind the stage with my dad doing something for like a visual thing, and like Svengoolie's just there, and I'm like, oh, you're Svengoolie, and he's like, yeah, it's me. And then like I'm like, cool. Like that's always how I met Svengoolie. I think I met Svengoolie like 3 or 4 times, and every time it was like that kind of scenario. It was never like, I'm here to meet Svengoolie.
Yeah, I wanted to actually get like a proper picture with him, like a really nice one, and I did, and I was very happy with it. I love the Throwback Horror Show, or Flashback. It's Flashback Horror Weekend.
Yeah.
I always call it Throwback, but it's Flashback Horror Weekend. I really enjoy that show. It's one of my favorites, and it's kind of the reason I don't go to not Adepticon, Gen Con anymore, because it's the same weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the horror show is gonna be better, and you avoid the Lorcana riot.
The what?
The Lorcana riot.
What? Lorcana had another riot.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this.
Oh, that was at Gen Con. Yeah, there was like people knocked over, fights. They destroyed one of the booths.
I don't understand, why is that game so popular?
It's crazy. It is.
I know
crazy.
it's Disney, so you get a bunch of the weird Disney weirdos out about it.
It's unreal. I've never. So actually, you know what? I was just about to say, I'm going to correct what I was going to say. What I was going to say is I've never seen a game with this. I'm going to correct that. I don't think I've ever seen a thing with this much hype behind it.
Yeah, it's got so much hype, but yet it's one of those things where it's like everything's hyped about it, but no one I know talks about or plays it.
Yeah, if they can afford to play it, because man, it is those box prices, bro, are not cheap.
It's like, for me, it's like Avatar, the movie Avatar. Like, Avatar made $2 billion, but no one I know saw it. The Way of Water. It's like Lorcana. It's like it's the greatest selling game of all time, and it's like I look around and it's like no one's playing this game. What the fuck?
Well, it's not out yet. So
is this? Oh, it's not out yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's not out.
Is it one of those things where it's like is this a money laundering scheme? That's what I feel like.
You'll have to see what you see after in 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks time, you have to see if you see people playing it after that.
It's like it's like whenever Pat sends me something about some video game selling for outrageous prices, I keep on telling him, I'm like, Pat, this is money laundering. You don't understand. This is just money laundering. Stop.
Yeah, it is.
These games aren't actually worth this much. People are trying to legitimize drug money.
No, there was actually a there was also inflating trying to artificially inflate the market because what?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because there was the person who bought the mint copy of Mario 64 for $1.3 million, which was like the absolute most insane price ever paid for a video game. Yeah, turns out that person, he also happens to be a founding investor, 50-50 co-owner of the first video game grading company. That's totally interesting.
Well, what you do is you start inflating the price of video games, right?
Which they did successfully.
And then you figure out how to do that, and that increases the market. So then people can buy a video game like Mario 64 for $1 million. They pay that $1 million for that, and then they can use that video game to trade back, and you get your money back. And guess what? Your money is clean now. You actually have cleaned money.
It's been laundered.
So it's money laundering. It's not that hard. I mean, Red Letter Media, who I've talked about before, did a whole thing about VHS, how VHS grading is now a thing, and how it's the most ridiculous thing ever. And it's just like, this is all about money laundering. And then idiots who aren't into money laundering get bought into it and lose all of their money through stupid collectibles.
VHS grading. Holy shit.
I know. Well, I like VHS. Don't get me wrong. I think most movies made between 1980 and 1995 should be watched on VHS because that's what they're designed for. But that's just me. But you know what? I'm not going to pay over $6 for a VHS copy of a movie I like.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I actually at the Flashback Horror Convention, I bought 2 VHS, and one of them was the best of WrestleMania 1 through 10. So,
was the other one Pumpkinhead?
No, I got a nice copy of Planet of the Apes. I've been looking for.
Oh,
there was actually there was a copy of a movie. I believe it's called Horror Train, and it's a kind of Lovecraftian train mystery movie starring Peter Cushing, and
It
it's
sounds
got
very
Telly,
interesting.
it's got Telly Savalas in it. He plays like a Russian general or a Russian cop who doesn't wear a shirt throughout the entire scene that he's in, and he's like obviously drunk and having fun.
Mm.
But it's a really cool movie, and I saw a guy with a copy of it, and I was like, oh, I've been looking for this, and he wanted like $25 for it. I was like, no, I'm not paying $25 for a VHS. I mean, I just want it so I could play it on my VHS player in my office. I don't want to necessarily. I could just put it on Amazon if I want to.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not the market for that. No, but yeah. So that's I don't even know how we got onto that. Oh, it was video game grading.
Yeah.
Something.
It was collectibles. I don't know.
Collectibles. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Lorcana. It was.
Lorcana.
Yeah,
That's what it was all about. Man, we went off on a weird tangent there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, is it a good game? Are the mechanics good?
So from what I've seen, yeah, it looks pretty solid. It's like in the middle of it looks like it's a bit more advanced than Pokemon and then slightly less advanced than Magic. So it like should be the sweet spot for kind of everyone. And mechanically it looks sound. So I mean that part looks good. I mean, it actually does look like a pretty good game to play.
Are people still playing Keyforge?
No, people are not playing Keyforge.
No, Keyforge is done.
Keyforge, they've moved on.
Is Keyforge still around?
I don't know if Keyforge is wrong because there was SoulForge that came out after that as well, but SoulForge also didn't make it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if Keyforge is still around.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting concept for a game, but the actual play, I know, like the actual decks didn't make any sense to me. Like it was like, why? What's going on with these?
I mean, I could see how like a random number generated deck could lead to that for sure.
Yeah, whatever.
And a lot of, I mean, I will say that is something that you probably lose out on. I mean, I said I didn't go deep in those games, so maybe I might be wrong, or maybe they thought of this and corrected it after the first sets. But like, one of the things that is kind of cool about playing, a lot of decks is like the theme, like the theming of the deck, because usually the deck will play into its theme. Like you'll get a different feel. So like when you're playing like a Saprolings deck, like which is like the plant growth, green deck, like you make tons and tons and tons of tokens, and like that's a unique game experience compared to someone playing like a counterspell deck. Like you're playing the same game, but you are not doing anywhere near the close to the same thing.
Yeah. So it has a different mouthfeel.
Yeah, it's a different mouthfeel.
God damn it.
We can't escape.
Yeah. It's weird, but yeah, that was yeah. So let's talk about some of the other some news. I think this was an interesting one. Is that Wizards of the Coast had to tell the D&D artists, it's like, hey, knock it off with the AI art.
I am ready to draw a picture for you, robot.
Well, and the funny thing, okay, so basically, in the new book, it was caught that they were using AI generated art.
An artist trained an AI on his own art to do art fast in his style. Yeah,
and it screwed up some hands and feet like it always does.
Yep.
It's part of the reason why AI porn will never work until they can fix that problem.
I'm really gonna work on that.
Yeah, and it's like people are now so like degenerates who are into AI porn are so attuned to these things that now we can see it in D&D books.
They've got it on lock.
Yes, the degenerates have been like, fingers are weird.
I
can't masturbate to this Naruto.
It's true. You know what? You're right. It's like, the toes aren't working.
That's the part where they didn't mention this in the Associated Press article, is that degenerates around the world can now identify AI generated art based upon fingers and toes.
That's right. We need them.
Yes.
America's hard working, red-blooded degenerates.
Degenerates. Which is actually kind of funny too, because if I think of anything, my biggest criticism of D&D's books for 5th edition is the artwork. I think the art is very Gennaro fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think it feels D&D ish. Like you could take most of the pictures from the D&D art and from the D&D books and put them into any generic fantasy book, and I would be like, oh yeah, that's totally from Starfinder. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. However, But I think a lot of that has to do with them having a lot of control over the artists and what they draw, sort of thing. Like back in the day, you'd have like Larry Elmore, drawing something, and later Larry Elmore's work looks so much like Larry Elmore that you're just like, oh, well, that's Larry Elmore. He does D&D stuff, therefore Larry Elmore is D&D.
Yeah.
And now the artists aren't really as attached, aren't like really that forefront of what's going on.
I could see that, yeah. Like there hasn't been, as far as I know, there hasn't been another like Wayne Reynolds or Dieter Lizzie or Brom, where you know them and you know their style. Like you look at when you look at Dark Sun stuff, it's like Brom's all over Dark Sun.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just like what's his face? I mean, there's certain D&D artists that you see and you're just like, those names. And nowadays they don't really have that because I think Wizards doesn't want to have personalities attached to their games. It's just like GW. Like you don't want the personality to become bigger than the game,
right?
And it's fair, but it also takes away some of the fun of the game. And I know there are people who really know specific artists for Magic cards and stuff like that. I'm sure that there's like some anime artists that, you're just like, this is that person's style.
Yes.
It's not just like Studio Ghibli has a style, but it's a studio. But I'm sure there's some manga artist who's written 5,000 volumes of whatever book.
Yeah, no, there's plenty that absolutely it's like that's that guy's style. It's like you can tell. It's like, oh yeah, that's Harada. Like actually, that's perfect one for me. Harada, Tetsuo Harada. Like his style is like that's Fist of the North Star. Like,
okay, yeah, that's one I could look at a picture and say that's Fist of the North Star. I wouldn't know the artist, but
yeah, exactly. Like, but you're exactly correct. It's just like because like he's got that style. Like that is him.
Yeah, so like Dungeons and Dragons does not do that, which is weird to me. Which is actually kind of funny because they announced that there's going to be a third volume of End of the Death, the last book of the Horus Heresy. So like there was going to be 2, and then they're like, we got to do 3 because I think what's his face Abnett is so powerful right now that he cannot no editor can contain him.
His power has grown beyond our control.
It's over 9,000. Yeah, it's pretty much like that. So they actually showed the cover for the last book, which is the Emperor fighting Sanguinius, and everyone was like, Adrian Smith did it better. Which I'm like, yeah. I think if I think of one GW artist, it's Adrian Smith doing his GW stuff is the best.
Yeah, it's pretty good. John Blanche too.
But I'm not a huge fan of John Blanche.
I like John Blanche. John Blanche reminds me of Giger. I don't know why, but that's what it reminds me of. And I'm a big Giger head, so.
Tim is a huge Blanchitsu fan.
Nice.
Which is, and I get it. I like him. I get that people like him. I like his art too, but some people really go nuts over John Blanche. It's something I don't really understand. But anyway, WotC had to tell him you got to stop using the AI, and I think that was more of part of their public thing. They're telling the people out in public, I think they're oh, so you're gonna have a computer draw your shit? Well, we're gonna pay the computer and not you to draw your shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So way to fuck over your entire industry, dude. Because now Wizards understands that. Wait, we could just have AI draw our art. We could do that because we own this art, so we could just train AI to take all of our art and put it into our book because that's what they're gonna do now. Because of you don't.
No, they put out a big thing that they said that they're committed to not using AI art in any capacity in their books.
Yeah, that's what they say, and then they do it, and then people get mad. Wizards is weird though, because Wizards would fold. Wizards is the only company I know that folds. when people get mad at Wizards is like, all right. But every other company does not doesn't care.
Well, I mean, it's probably because they Wizards probably actually sees sales data with they probably are responding to sales. When someone when people are see the CEO of Nestle is I don't care that I killed those villagers because of dehydration by stealing their water. They should have just bought dollar bottles of water from me, Nestle. you're impotent to do anything about Nestle. Like,
Well,
completely.
you're impotent to do anything legal about Nestle.
Yes, of course. Yes, I
All
mean,
the
well,
CEOs' addresses are available online.
that's implied. But like, so like everyone's impotent to like do anything about Nestle in this capacity because like I was like, well, I'm gonna boycott Nestle products. Like, good fucking luck. Like, you have no idea how impossible what you're trying to boycott is going to be for you to boycott.
Yeah, boycotts are stupid. They don't work.
But like see, here's the thing. It's not that they don't work. It's that they work on a certain scale. And I think on a scale like Wizards, which is still, obviously gigantic for the industry, I still think it's a scale where the player bases actually can affect the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that that it happened so poorly with 4th edition that I think they're still like really smarting from it. And that happened over a decade ago.
I mean, that's still something that's like, I mean, I can't think of any other like product that was like that.
Yeah, it's weird. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're the only company I know who will legit fold with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, moving on. We also the Cities of Sigmar book got leaked, and so Games Workshop panicked and they put out the official release of all the Cities of Sigmar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw all that stuff.
I did. They're very, very cool.
There are some fun Rackham models right there. I loved this game when it was produced in 2005. Yeah, like these are like all legit Rackham models, which is fine. They're cool looking. Rackham is very cool looking. I absolutely love the dead guy on the Palanquin. That's fun.
Awesome.
Yes. Or there's a live guy and a dead guy. It's like there's a live guy in the front, dead guy in the back.
Yes.
It's like the mullet of Warhammer Fantasy. And the I do kind of like the Manticore.
I think the Manticore is dope as shit. I also really love the mobile fortress idea with the ogre cannon guy, the infantry cannon guys, and then the big ass cannon. I think it looks super cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's all very Rackham to me. It's like that's the thing. It's like I'm playing Cadwallon. This is great.
Let's roll.
I've traveled back in time to the year 2006. I have to warn my future self about buying a house during the market crisis. Yeah, that's but I mean, it's so they're all really nice looking. As a person who just spent the last like week putting together Warcry stuff from Games Workshop, these are like the first GW actual models I put together in a long time. I have to say, it's like, Games Workshop, please stop making these models so fucking complicated. There's no reason. Molding technology has achieved the point where you don't have to do any of this, but they still do it anyway. I don't understand it myself. But yes, that was the Cities of Sigmar stuff was pretty sweet, I have to say. And they also released all of the stuff for the Black Talon cartoon show on the Warhammer Plus. Remember Warhammer Plus, Steve?
I do remember Warhammer Plus. I've watched Black Talon on it.
Yeah, they released like I don't know what it's. I think it's maybe just like a limited release box set, but it's
there's just like a little warband of like cool dudes.
Yeah, it's not for Warcry. It's not for Underworlds. It's probably for Age of Sigmar, but it's like a little warband.
Yeah, it's a little warband of cool dudes.
Little warband of cool dudes. They all don't have helmets, and then everybody bitched about them not having helmets, and they're like, no, they have helmets.
Yeah, it's like they got both. You could pick one or the other. It's very cool.
Yeah. I don't enjoy painting. I'm just going to put the helmets on.
I just want to paint their faces so real.
The one woman's face. I shouldn't say woman. It's a woman. I shouldn't say that either. I shouldn't assume gender. The one Stormcast has African American face. I can't paint that. No, because I'm a racist. Oh, sad day for everybody. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to talk about was that from last week we talked about how the One Ring was found. Did you watch the video of the guy with the One Ring?
I did not watch the video, but I read the recap of the story and I was like, man, happy end of this story.
I mean, it's like really a great feel-good story. The guy, he found the ring, and the video of it is hysterical because you could see his hand shaking.
Mm.
Like, just like The thing I like about that is like it was found by a guy who knew what it was. He's not a competitive like a ranked player or anything like that, or like a super ranked player. He's just a guy who opened up a pack. He knew what it was.
Forklift driver.
What's that?
Forklift driver.
He's a forklift driver, and it was bought by Post Malone.
Yep.
And it's like a guy who likes Magic the Gathering bought it. And it was like, that's really cool. This is a feel-good story.
Yeah, it's like an everybody wins story. It's like the kind of person you want to find a jackpot lottery ticket found a jackpot lottery ticket.
Yeah, it's I think it would be funnier if it was like opened up in a pack by like, let's say, an 8-year-old.
Oh, that, you know what? That was something that I was like thinking about the other day too. I was just like, man, that would be ridiculous if it was in like just some child's collection.
Yeah, no one had any idea of what it was.
Yeah,
where it was. That would be perfect in my opinion.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
But it all ended up. Did you speaking of Post Malone, did you see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles yet?
No.
The Mutant Mayhem?
No, the Mutant Mayhem.
It's a fantastic movie.
It's a new Turtles movie?
Yeah, just came out.
Oh, no shit. Okay. I didn't know.
Finger so close to the pulse of pop culture, Steve.
Bruh, no, I'm sorry. If you know what, if it's got to do with Japan, I got you.
As the rest of the world will say, no, the new movie came out, and it's not like any turtle product or movie that's been ever released, and it's so good for that. I love it because so many people are complaining about how it goes against turtle lore. And the second someone brings out lore when it comes to any sort of like property for a child, it makes me laugh.
But
it makes the movie so much better.
But the lore says
no. The only thing I found weird, it felt New York more than any other Turtles thing I've ever watched.
Okay.
It felt more like actual like, hey, I'm in Brooklyn kind of thing.
When I was in New York, I had the fucking best lox bagel sandwich I've ever had in my fucking life. It was so fucking good.
Yeah. Well, hey, the best lox, bagel and lox that I ever had was from New York Bialy and Bagel, and that's actually in Chicago. So
now I want to go there too.
Well, it's on the far north side, and considering the fact that you barely leave the house, I would say it's probably gonna be hard to get up there.
It'll be a big run, you know. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'll run. It'll be good.
Yes. But yeah, the Turtles movie was really good, and Post Malone plays Ray. What's that guy's name? Ray Fillet.
Ray Fillet.
Yes, he plays Ray Fillet.
Nice.
And he sings a little bit. It was actually fairly cool. Like they didn't have Shredder. They didn't have Kang. So they didn't do any of that stuff. They kept it really grounded. There was a lot of mutants.
Okay.
And Splinter really weirdly was voiced by Jackie Chan. But,
all right.
But I mean that's not weird. But the weird thing is they kind of made Splinter look Jewish. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest.
Would George Lucas direct this movie?
I mean, I don't know how to explain it at all without sounding like a racist myself. But they did give him a Jufro. The younger Splinter, a fro, and they came kind of like a cadence, if you will. So it was weird hearing Jackie Chan kind of do this weird like New York Jewish accent. That was weird.
I gotta watch this movie.
But I enjoyed it quite a bit. I liked it. I thought it was I thought it was really heartwarming. I thought that like it's the only Turtles movie where they actually act like teenagers.
Oh, okay.
They actually, and you know, like the teenage part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like
frequently ignored.
Yeah, like in every aspect of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think even in the '90s cartoon, they were like in their late 30s.
Yo, gonna have pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was something that they would have said in probably, let's say, early 30s as opposed to late 30s.
Gnarly.
Yeah. Which is, you know, it's fun, but they actually talked, and some of the personalities weren't that great, but I think that was because they kind of got away from what they did in the 90s, where it's like, no, only Michelangelo said gnarly. You're not allowed to say gnarly.
That's right.
Leonardo is not allowed to say gnarly. Only Michelangelo. But anyway, I highly recommend it. It was the last movie I saw of the summer with my kids, and they really liked it, which has kind of become my benchmark on a lot of kids' movies of whether or not I think they're good. If the kids like them, then they're probably a good movie.
Nice.
If the kids do not like them, then it's a bad movie. It's like whenever one of my like on a group chat when someone's saying like, "Did you watch this Star Wars TV show? I think it's fantastic." And I'm like, my kid thought it was boring. Like this thing that's made for kids thought that, like was boring according to a kid. Therefore, your argument is completely wrong. Like people who are always want to talk about like, I want a serious Star Wars show. It's a movie about laser swords for kids. Come on. But anyway, so do we have anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
What about the super sweet Necrons they sent you?
I think we hit all. Yeah, those are really cool.
Those are from Arch Villain Games. They do the 3D stuff. Their sci-fi tier last month was a ton of Necrons, but they're like super stylized Necrons and look amazing.
Yeah, they look really fucking cool.
What about the giant?
The Bone Giant was fucking badass as well.
Yeah, I kind of like that one because it won't fall over.
Impossible for it to fall over.
Yeah, I was just going through my files for July, and I was like, oh, these are sweet.
Yeah, those are fucking cool as shit.
You know, there'd be some goober kid who would knock it over and break it.
Somehow, yeah, he'd like he would just he'd fucking physics defied EDM music it, and they'd just somehow knock it over and break it.
EDM it.
Yeah. It's like Darude Sandstorm starts playing, and like you're like, how is this possible?
What's the name of that song? Darude Sandstorm.
Sandstorm.
You don't even finish asking the question. That's what the answer is.
Darude Sandstorm.
All right. Well, you could go to Planet. Jesus Christ!
Wow.
You can go to the Game Classy Facebook page. It's the best way to find the link to the Game Classy Discord, where we're more active than in Facebook. The Discord has all the fun stuff, and you might occasionally find a not safe for work Discord that'll work for you on there as well. We have multiple purposes.
Yeah, so you never know.
Yeah, you never know. If you want to see us outside of that area, you could see me at Instagram at Game Classy Joe. Steve is currently off the grid, hiding from the government.
It's true. They'll never find me. Not in my secret lair.
Steve, you're gonna see Steve when they do that Zuck versus Musk fight. He's gonna like parachute in, like he's gonna do the parachute fan. And
yeah, I'll do the parachute fan. It'll be me. I'll be like, yeah.
Oh God, I hate those two so much.
I just crush Elon Musk's head between my thighs. It's just into a squishy paste.
That guy's got a huge melon. I don't know.
I mean, I've been training for years.
You're like those girls who squeeze the watermelons between the thighs.
Yes, exactly. I'm ready. Yes. I'm prepared. My whole life been training for this.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So if you think there was like a pay-per-view thing where it was like, watch Elon Musk's, if we reach $1 billion, Elon Musk's head will be crushed between a woman's thighs.
Okay.
Like, I'm not talking like just like suffocated. I'll talk like his head will explode scanner style.
Yeah, to death.
Like $1 billion. Do you think that money could be raised?
Huh. I don't know.
Like, it's $1 billion. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think even. How would be? It'd be interesting. That would be interesting because okay. So in our broken world, yes, it would be immediately. Because I just had to think about that for a second. I was like, wait, I'm a fucking moron. Because literally one other billionaire could be like, ha, that's funny, and could just donate $1 billion.
Well, okay, yeah, I would suppose that, but
that now, do I think like if you exclude the possibility of like someone who's like, I just have $1 billion to throw at this, taking those guys out of the equation, I would say maybe. I'd see. I guess I would say I would be like, how long do they have to raise the money? Would probably become the question there.
I mean, I think that there's a possibility that it could happen. Like if we did like a Kickstarter and the money wasn't taken until we hit the $1 billion.
Okay,
people would
right.
throw in like $5-10 to cover the people that couldn't cover the money.
Yeah, you think so? I mean, I wouldn't say no.
That's pretty good to me. You can you want to help out the podcast, you could like, comment, subscribe on the iTunes, or you could like, comment, subscribe on the YouTubes, where I also put it up for some odd reason. I don't know why I put myself through that every week when I do that, but I do. It's on
People love it.
People love it. So Steve, until next time.
El Duende real.
Game Classy.